Welcome back to The Case for America on Real America's Voice.
Welcome back to The Case for America. I'm Trennis Evans. We spent this hour walking through two different cases. Joby Weeks, Tim Barton, different lives, different circumstances, same result, no jury trial, and yet years of punishment. Now we turn to the law. Peter Tickton, one of the most respected constitutional attorneys in the country, President Trump's attorney and longtime friend, a defender of due process and a lawyer who has seen this system from the inside out. Peter, take it away.
You were the one that had somebody hacked your equipment
for $1 billion,
and you went to the FBI.
True.
Right, and then that's when they started saying, well, we got a problem, you're being investigated. That's the first you ever even knew about it.
That's true. I did get hacked. It's been a wild west. I mean, I had my first Bitcoin. I got it at 85 cents, 250 Bitcoins for $200. I bought it on the Silk Road. It was difficult. There were no exchanges back then. Mm-hmm. And, I had all this Bitcoin. Government came, stole it all, took down the Silk Road, auctioned the Bitcoin off to Tim Draper. I didn't do anything wrong. They just came and stole my Bitcoin. So I get some more Bitcoin, put it on Mt. Gox. Mt. Gox gets hacked, lose all my Bitcoin again. Then Ethereum comes out. I'm like, oh, this is great. I buy a bunch of Ethereum for $7 or whatever it was. And there was this,
what year was
DAO hack. $60 million gets stolen in a day. I had to fork Ethereum from Ethereum Classic and I lost all my money again. Then I get more Bitcoin, and I'm like, I'm going to just start mining Bitcoin, I think. It's about $200 a Bitcoin back then when we started mining. That was 2015. And 14 was when BitClub started. I didn't join BitClub till 16 months after it started. As a member, I didn't own BitClub, didn't run BitClub.
You basically promoted it.
I promoted it to my mom, my dad, my cousins, my brothers, uncles, aunts. I would never have criminal intent to rip off my mom. Hello.
Well, hold on a second. Isn't it true that all you did was make money for everybody?
Everybody got rich.
Everybody got rich.
And then I got SIM swapped and hacked. You can type up Joby Weeks New York Times. They did a whole story when I got all my Bitcoin stolen again.
Who lost money under your direction of the company?
Nobody.
You weren't even directing the company.
The FBI themselves actually made money. They pretended to be wanting to join BitClub, FBI agents,
Right.
They join, they make money. I'm like, I wonder if the FBI paid any taxes on all the money they made with BitClub. Because they literally made a profit.
So the FBI, the federal government actually makes money following this, like, hey, I'm doing this, it's great. You're not putting a gun to anyone's head. You're not selling securities. You're not a fiduciary of something. You're simply saying, this is what we do. Hey, join the party. This is great, America.
It was a private membership association. It wasn't a company. They didn't touch the U.S. financial system in any way. It was Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out. That's not money. They're trying to put all these rules on, like, where do they get jurisdiction if a Chinese guy tells a Japanese guy to buy some Bitcoin mining hardware? How can the SEC come in and say, oh, you can't do that?
Well, because they have to work a prevent defense because you're undermining their control.
Why is this even in New Jersey? I didn't live in New Jersey. I didn't do business in Jersey. Why the heck does New Jersey even... How did I get kidnapped to New Jersey?
What is the nexus to New Jersey? That's a great point. Look.
Because they're New York City's redheaded stepchild. They're all jealous that New York gets all the big cases, and they're like, we want a good case too.
Because we need to fill our coffers so that we continue our
criminal
enterprise against the United States people.
They're total criminals in New Jersey. Listen to this. I was an investor in an ATM business. And New York has this bit license. So everybody was leaving New York, driving across the bridge to trade out their cash for Bitcoin in a Bitcoin ATM. They're all over the place at all the gas stations all over. So my buddy goes to go take out the cash in New Jersey, about $300,000 in cash. He's followed by these two cops. The cops themselves stuck him up and stole the $300,000 in cash. Not a criminal on the street, some gangbanger stick-up kid. The actual police from New Jersey stole $300,000 from my business partner just clearing out one of the ATMs one night. That's New Jersey.
All right. Joby, listen, I have two things. I want to make sure you both have a final word here on this. So, Peter, I'm going to come to you first on this. On this topic, where are you with a final word on what should President Trump do to bring justice to this situation?
I would ask Donald Trump, my friend for, over 60 years. Donald Trump is one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever known. And, he was loved by our fellow cadets at the military academy. And I have known him since we were 15 years old. He's a good person, a good man. And I asked Donald please look at this and just do what's right. This is a situation where we need a pardon as soon as possible just to end all of this nonsense and to start getting Joby Weeks restored, to have his property returned, and then he should be compensated for what happened. So I'm asking you for all of these things on behalf of Joby Weeks.
Thank you, Peter.
The audience here at Real America's Voice in the Case for America is an active audience. That's why we're going to ask you this week to do something special. We want to ask you to read that address, the email address to President Trump, read it right there on the screen, and send these 4 simple words. Mr. President, please free Joby Weeks. That's our action item this week. We look forward to working with you again. What we saw tonight was not about crypto. It wasn't about one defendant. It wasn't about a single case. It was clearly about power, about what happens when the government no longer needs a verdict to destroy a life. Joby Weeks, Tim Barton, different stories. The playbook's the same. No jury trial, still the punishment continues. This is why due process matters. This is why accountability matters. And this is why we keep telling these stories. This was the Case for America. I'm Trennis Evans. Stay loud, stay free, and never bend the knee.
On Real America's Voice.